Hello, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank this opportunity for this webinar. And I'm Güle Darktan, and I'm working on TTSM Turkey. Specialists are peppers, melon, watermelon, and fresh legumes, and also corn, sweet and popcorns, and mushrooms. And today I will give you information about the US examination of pepper varieties in Turkey. Peppers, as you know, are important species of the Solanaceae family, and this family includes potato, tomato, and eggplants also. And Solanaceae family consists of 98 genus and more than 2,700 species. The number of species in the genus Capsicum was determined to be 43, and main domesticated species of the capsicum, Capsicum annum, Capsicum chinense, Capsicum frutescens, and Capsicum bacatum, Capsicum pubescens. And the most widely cultivated pepper in Turkey is also for breeding progress in our country. And
Güleda, your sound is breaking a bit. Maybe you'd like to switch off your video feed. The sound is breaking on your side. Maybe you would like to switch off your video feed.
The importance of peppers. Okay. Now it is okay?
Yes, it is. We can hear you clearly.
Thank you. Sorry. The importance of peppers for humanity being 1,000 years ago in the America, and it originated subtropical regions of South America, I'm sorry. And then it spread to Europe the late of 14th century. And after that, 16th century, it came to Anatolia. And as a result of the breeding studies carried out in Turkey, it is seen that many types of pepper varieties have been registered, especially in recent years. And I would like to show you what types of peppers we mostly registered. And Sivri type is the Turkish type also. We use all the dishes and breakfasts and for our meals, main dishes. And next one is Kapya, and other than Bell type, Charleston type. And we have 19 types of peppers are registered now. This one is Sivri type and Kıl type. Sivri type is mostly known Turkish pepper type, and Kıl type more than thin and longer than Sivri type. And we use also Kapya type for the pepper sauce. And Bell type, Urfa type, and Üçburun and Maraş type. And Urfa type and Maraş type, it's always spicy ones. And we use also California Wonder and Jalapeno and Charleston types. Maybe banana type, Charleston and banana type is used for other countries. And these are all usually grows for export. And we have Chile, Italian, and Hungarian type also are registered, and some ornamental peppers in our country. As you know, we use UPO test guidelines for the DUS examination. And after the application of varieties, we planned our DUS trail. And for this one, first one is distinctness. And for distinctness, we use grouping characteristics. And after that, we set up our trails. And breeders filled the technical questionnaire, and all grouping characteristic in the they fill the TQ, and we check the characteristics. Then we plan our trial design, and we organize the which type would be nearby site, and the other one we use qualitative, pseudo-qualitative, and quantitative characteristics also. And we also pay attention these inform us about the in the TQ, and then we also want growing season and cultivation method from the breeders, and we plan our trials which location will be set up. And for pepper also use Antalya, Manisa, and Bursa location, and mainly we use Ankara location, both greenhouse and open field trials. And in Ankara, we have two different parts of trial areas for DUS testing, and we have open fields area more than 300 hectares. We have. We grow also all types of vegetables, all species in this area, and we have greenhouses also. Tomato, cucumber, and pepper trials will set up this area. Now you can see the Antalya location, and we use this location, especially spring type and winter type also. And we do seedling planting in with some codes. We don't know the variety name when we start to trial. And this location is Ankara. We use the greenhouses for the different location for the open fields areas. Yes. Our test design is the, of course, it's came from the UPO test guidelines. And trial plan is the at least 20 plants and 2 or more replicates, and we set up our trials 2 growing cycles, and we also use at least one location. It's changeable for year than year. Bursa, Manisa, or Antalya, different type of climates. It will be change the location. First, we sown our seeds by ourselves because we have to be careful to eliminate the mixing of seeds because of the uniformity problems, and we sow all the seeds in this views. And then, as I said, each variety has numbers when we start the trial. After the sowing, after 10 or 15 days, the sowing, we start the DUS examination. And first characteristics are seedling anthocean coloration of hypocotyl. And we pick the seedling, and then after then take some pictures, and you can see the absent and present one anthocean coloration of hypocotyl. And the second characteristic is plant habit. First one is prostrate, more than mostly ornamental types is belong to these characteristics, and semi-upright is more available to open field varieties, and upright is usually seen the greenhouses types. And the third one is length of stem. We measure with a ruler about these characteristics. And first picture is short, medium to long is vary. And some varieties has shortened internode in upper part, and this one is absent and present also, it changed. And after that, if the variety has shortened internode, we count the numbers of flowers between the first flowers, none, 1 to 3, and more than 3 also. And we measure the shortened internode part, and if the variety has the shortened internodes. And anthocean coloration of nodes, this one is qualitative characteristics, and most of the varieties, if hasn't anthocean coloration of hypocotyl, we see the anthocean coloration of nodes, and the other anthocean coloration we cannot see, but not always, and usually is the same. Anthocean coloration is if the anthocean coloration is not C, sorry. If the anthocean coloration hasn't the hypocotyl, and nodes and flowers usually hasn't also. And the intensity of anthocean coloration of nodes, it's it's changeable for the location, because temperature, day length, and brightness of sunlight, it's coloration, and it changed to some location, and we use the middle parts of the plants for these characteristics. And we also use example varieties, and we compare with example varieties for these characteristics. And fairness of notes, this is a visual observation also. We use same as 8 characteristics, the middle of the third part, in the middle of the third part for plants, and calibrate with the example varieties also. And this should be this shouldn't be done bright areas, bright sunlight areas, because it's it's a little bit hard to clarify this characteristic in the sunlight, and we use shaded parts for this pictures. And the other characteristic is plant height. We also measure the rulers with these characteristics, and we have our calibration scale, and all measure all the characteristics with used by measurement. And first one is very short, and it's very long. And leaf observations, and when the varieties become fully developed, we start the leaf observations, and we calculate the length and the other characteristics, and we pick the leaves, then take some photos. The first leaves characteristics is length of blade, and it's changeable to very short to very long, as you can see. And we also use rulers to observe these characteristics. And this one is also, we use ruler, the width of blade. It's changed to very narrow to very broad. Intensity of green color, it's affected with sunlight, and we use maybe an umbrella for the for taking pictures, or shaded locations. We and next one is leaf shape. It is the pseudo-qualitative characteristics, and sometimes it's changeable in a one plant, but we use middle parts of the varieties of the plants for these characteristics. Undulation of margin, and we use also main stem and, like I said, middle of the plants. We pick the flowers and take some pictures, and of course we calibrate with example varieties. And leaf blistering, sometimes it's difficult to reflect this characteristic with photographs because we pick the leaves and take pictures, and leaves are withering during this time, so it's kind of hard to take some pictures, and it changed to very weak to very strong. And the other one, leaf profile in cross section, and the most difficult to take some pictures of these characteristics, but I try to cut the leaves to show you, but the hand drawing is more useful, I guess. Leaf glossiness, this characteristic should be observed shaded room also, because it's changeable to bright sunlight. It's changed to very weak to very strong. And after that, we start the flower observations. And flower colors are different for the genus. It's changeable for these genus, but unknown type has only white petals. And the first flower observation is pedicule attitude. We considered in general of the plant, because it's sometimes changeable from the environmental conditions. And the next one, antecedent coloration in anther, and absent and present ones also have, and absent ones less than present ones in our country. And newly added characteristics in antecedent coloration in filaments, and we have just a few varieties of the present one. After the leaves and flowers observations, we check the fruits and before maturity, and we picked and harvest from the middle part of plants. And then we take some pictures. Also, we cut all the fruits, I guess. And this part we use some example varieties to compare the observations. Fruit color before maturity, it's 4 types of the peppers. It's greenish white, yellow, green, and purple ones. greenish white and yellow ones, less than green types in our country, purple ones in just a few types we have. For the intensity of colors before maturity, we have to use example varieties because it's changeable for the sunny areas and greenhouse and open field areas and different locations. All the conditions are affected the intensity of color, and very light to very dark to change. And the next one is anthocyanin coloration. And if the anthocyanin coloration on the fruit is present, mostly stalk has anthocyanin coloration also. And the anthocyanin coloration and the intensity of anthocyanin coloration in the fruit is changeable, like you can see. And last, before maturity fruit observation is the horizontal and tropic ones, mostly seen than the other ones in our country. And the biggest part of observations and fruit maturity observations. We first, the varieties has started to color, and we check the harvest time, and we picked and harvest to all fruits and take our observations. And the first one, fruit length, we cut the fruit lengthwise, and we measure from the stalk point to the end point with a ruler, and very short to very long to changeable, you can see. And the other one is fruit diameter, and we also cut the peppers, as you can see, crosswise, and we use rulers also to measurement, and it's changed to very narrow to very broad. We use length and diameters numbers to calibrate these characteristics, ratio length and diameter. And the first one is very small, and the last one is very large. And this one is fruit shape in longitudinal section. This one is also grouping characteristics, and you can see the types of longitudinal section. And first one is oblate one, circular one, and chordate ones. And these are mostly ornamental types, and the square type and rectangular types, and mostly seen the bell type and California wonder types, and trapezoidal types, and moderately triangular types, you can see the kapya type and üçburun type, and narrowly triangular and sivri and kıl types also we have, and horn shape, and also Italian type, Anaheim type, and kapya types. And the next one, shape and cross section. We cut the fruits at the level of placenta, and we takes our observations. First one is elliptic ones, and the angular ones, and the circular one. Next observation is sinuation of pericarp at basal parts. And this one is changed to absent or very weak to mostly seen the sivri and kıl types, and maybe üçburun types, but sometimes we will see the kapya types. And the other one, sinuation of pericarp excluding basal part. And you can see the absent or very weak to very strong photographs. And we check the fruit surface, and we use this we use example varieties for this characteristics also, because it's especially strongly wrinkled one is affected by environmental conditions. And fruit color at maturity, yellow, orange, red, and brown, and green one we have. But our country, we don't have brown and green ones also. Green ones never change the color, and we use all shape. After takes pictures, we use all the fruits in the same pictures, and we check the intensity of color at maturity. And after that, we are looking for glossiness, and it changed to very weak to very strong, and it's affected by sunlight, and we use shaded areas for this characteristics also. And stalk cavity, this one is qualitative characteristics and grouping characteristics also. This may vary within predominant situation can be observed, and if the stalk cavity is present, and we check these characteristics, and we measure the space between stalk cavity and upper part of fruit, and shape of apex is changed to very acute to very depressed. This kind, also very within the one plant, and most predominant one can be observed. Depth of interlocular grooves. we have to look the middle part of fruit for this observation, and it changed to absent or very shallow and to deep. For the observations, for the DUS observations, we harvest several fruits, and we cut a lot of fruits for the number of locus characteristics. We cut them, we cut the flowers in the level of placenta, and we count the locus, and it's changed to predominantly 2, equally 2 and 3, and predominantly 3, and equally 3 and 4, and more than 4. And after that, we measure the thickness of flesh with a caliper, and you can see the thin one and the thick one. We also use our scale for this observation. Stalk length, we measure we measure with ruler to stalk length, but when the harvesting time, the stems should be undamaged for this observation, and we pick them without breaking the basal part. And stalk thickness, we use also caliper these observations, and middle part of the stalk we calculate the thickness. And calyx aspect, and enveloping type, and non-enveloping type. Enveloping type also mostly spherical chili types, and sometimes halopon types included, but the Charleston type, Capia type, Bell types, and mostly non-enveloping. And I would like to show you my favorite observation of pepper and the capsaicin in placenta. We use ourselves for this observation, and we taste the peppers for more than 10 different plants, and we check the taste, and if the found the hot types, yeah, I'm good, we said. And the other one, time of beginning of flowering, we check the trial areas more than twice a week, more than 3 days of a week. And when we saw the first flower, and we note, and then we keep going looking flowers till all varieties has flowered. And the last one, our morphological characteristics is time of maturity. And scored 2 or 3 times per week till fruit on 70% of plants has changed color. And I would like to explain uniformity problems. In UPO test guidelines, we have limited for the off types, and peppers cross-pollinated, if the varieties cross-pollinated varieties, only 2 off types is allowed, but the varieties hybrid is 1 type, 1 off type is allowed. And we always see these types of uniformity problems and intensity of green colors also, and colors of the maturity time, and the shape, longitudinal section, and number of locus, and depressed the basal parts, and anthocyanic coloration, and some different shape for the uniformity problems of varieties. Now I would like to share 2 variation of registered pepper varieties on DUS test in Türkiye. Türkiye is the 65th member of UPO. UPO now has 78 members, and our membership date is 2007. After 2008 testing our registration procedures, but our institution is start registration procedures in 1964, and the first and till the 2008, 290 pepper varieties were registered under the law number of 2008. And then we start to DUS examination, and as you know, 2 growing cycles we have, and after the 2010 until today, 765 varieties were registered in pepper with DUS testing. And our first registered varieties of peppers were dolma biber and charleston, and it belongs to our part of our ministry. And first registered hybrid varieties are Sirana, Arzi, and Serpo. These are belongs to private companies. And first foreign varieties for the registration procedure is Charlie. It belongs to Monsanto. And I want to share the variation of some characteristics in our Türkiye. And first one's anthocyanic coloration of hypocotyl, and the mostly we registered is the present one. Absent one is just start to observe. And the other grouping characteristics and qualitative characteristics, plant shortened internote in upper part. We have also a lot of types of peppers don't have shortened internote. And the other one, antecedent coloration of notes, there is a other qualitative characteristics, and our registered peppers mostly belong to present one. Intensity of antecedent coloration of notes, yeah, like I said, it's changeable for the environmental conditions, but mostly our registered peppers belong to medium ones. And terms of notes and the other quantitative characteristics and mostly registered types is weak. Leaf shape. My first sorry, is the ovate one is mostly registered in Turkey because we use a lot of sivri and kıl types, but not always kıl types belongs to ovate type. Kapya type and üç burun and other types belong to these types of shape. And the other indulation of margin is the mostly seen registered varieties belongs to weak ones. And peduncle attitude mostly belongs to semi-dropping ones. And the antecedent coloration in anther is present ones, mostly registered. And you can see the green type is the mostly registered type. And antecedent coloration is absent ones is the most registered. And fruit attitude dropping ones. And like I said, shape in longitudinal section is narrowly triangular, is mostly registered. And the cross section at level of placenta is the elliptic ones. And sinuation of pericarp at basal part is weak one, is mostly registered. Fluid color of maturity, like I said, we don't have brown and green types. We just start to register orange type and yellow type. We mostly registered red types. Stalk cavity is absent one, is mostly registered. Shape of apex is moderately acute, is most registered. Number of locus is equally 2 and 3 is the most registered ones. Calyx aspect is non-enveloping, is mostly registered. And spicy ones are spicy ones less than sweet ones. We are our people like sweet peppers more than spicy ones. And I, including my presentation, I would like to thank you, my colleagues. And you know, these kinds of works is a teamwork, and if the team if the team is solid and your feet will be more firmly on the ground. And I would like to thank my esteemed partners gelmiş also. And I would like to thank you, my colleagues in Manisa and Antalya and here. And I would like to thank you, my family, to help me the observations. And of course, my big thanks for the UPOV team to this opportunity to make such a presentation on webinar, because it's the first time for me. I hope it's informing and it's good for you. And thank you all the participants for listening to me.